You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Revenge After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Revenge After Show.
Welcome, everybody. Bing is for doing, and we're here doing another AFTERBUZZ TV After Show for Revenge, Season 1, Episode 8. And here's the tricky... Oh, it's called Treachery. Here's the tricky part. For those of you listening, where it's March 21st, right? 22nd? 21st? 21st. And, well, I thought it was midnight, so, you know.
It's 11:25.
But anyway, so what's weird is that we're going back in time. We've already, we're technically a lot of episodes. We're up to, I believe, episode 17 already. And so we're going back in time to recap old episodes. So it's kind of weird.
Right.
But the good news is we've gotten a lot of good response from you guys as fans saying, like, during this hiatus stretch, this gets you through it. So we appreciate that, right, guys?
Absolutely.
And before we go even any further, allow me to introduce myself, Phil Svitek, along with my co-host for this week. You guys may remember Michelle Macedo. She covered the earlier episodes. And then Anna... That's right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then we have Anna Koppel, who you will hear in later episodes if you're going in order.
Right. That's true.
So look forward to that. So yeah, it's kind of funky, but we appreciate you guys. And
I definitely have to encourage. I'm going to join you guys for 1 second. Revenge is a great show, and as you know, our host, you guys work so hard. You guys learn and study the Revenge world more than anybody, and I wanted to encourage our iTunes people. Do us a favor. Hit us up with a comment. Rate our page.
Write a review.
Write a review.
There's been a lot of crazy reviews.
It's no longer a favor. Here's what I'm going to call it. See, we're doing this for free. Now, we didn't have to do these old episodes. We didn't. And we're doing it because we love doing it. And so in return, since we're not charging you guys now have to take the 15 seconds it takes and rate and comment on iTunes. No longer a favor, Ronnie. No longer.
And that's the thing.
Yeah, Phil's getting down and
I feel
dirty.
like we do need to make them do this because we work for you, so you work for us, and we do the research. Let me tell you, I was an Emily Van Camp fan. Like, I watched her on Brothers and Sisters, and when she walked out of that scene, I was like, oh man, she's gonna go to a new show. And lo and behold, it's Revenge, and you guys love it. So there you go.
Well, we've got some awesome news about Emily Van Camp, which Anna will read.
I want her on this show. I want her to come into the AfterBuzz Studios. That's just my own.
Yeah, I love
her.
her.
No, I don't want her on the show. Like,
why?
What?
Okay, yeah, shut up. Okay.
I mean,
good one.
But
oh, hold on.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a courtesy laugh.
But doing an old episode in the future, it kind of speaks to what this episode was about. Those people are doomed. Those who don't know the past are doomed to repeat it. Those who know the past are I don't know if it was doomed, but they're doomed to repeat. They're doomed to relive it, which we're reliving it because we like it.
Right, we're reliving it by choice.
Yeah, so it's awesome.
And we do know the past.
And that was a very good quote, right? What did you think of the overall quote?
The one that you just said?
Well, that was part of the episode. That's how the episode opened up.
They opened with that quote. Got it.
I always love the quotes. I always think they're profound.
Yeah, she has some good voiceover parts, Yeah. In the end, in the beginning. And I really like the music supervisor, whoever he or she is. They pick some good songs.
What was that at the end? Portishead? What was that?
Yeah, no, I was trying to figure it out. I don't think it was Portishead, but it kind of sounded like that.
Yeah, that trip hop.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was, and again, I really love the quote. And obviously, it's in speaking about Amanda, because now and again, for those of you listening, we're going to call the Amanda that comes into our lives Amanda, and we're going to continue to call Emily Van Camp's character Emily for the sake of...
Yeah, then it gets
Clarity.
way too confusing.
That's right. And so obviously she's talking about that, how she's now back in her life and kind of messing up things, not part of the plan.
Not part of the plan.
Would you, is this, like, when you first guys saw it, obviously this is your second time seeing it, you know, what did you think? How is Emily going to react to Amanda being back?
I think that anytime there's a wrench thrown into Emily's plan, she is not thrilled. So this seems to be a really big deal. I'm also very confused on Amanda's behavior. Even watching it a second time, she's all over the place. You know, at first she seems so like desperate to be back together with Emily, and then she gets sort of entitled, and then she gets sort of angry. And
yeah, I think I was confused too, and also I was thinking about like during it and watching it again. You know, their past and stuff together, and then at the end of this episode, for the first time, I was like, maybe she has some like weird like in love like / admiration thing for Emily or something. I mean, obviously we know that she's really loyal and desperate.
Right.
So, but I don't know. I don't really get why she doesn't want to go to Paris.
Well, because she's obviously found an attachment to Jack, and which we'll talk about more at length later. But I think the difference between the two is obviously they both have a troubled youth. Emily, I think, is a psychopath, whereas Amanda is a sociopath. And a sociopath doesn't really have a plan. They're always looking for someone to be friends with, and then when they find
attach to and ruin.
and that's what, well, not ruin, but they attach to someone. They don't mean to ruin them. They truly and genuinely love them, but most oftentimes they do ruin.
Well, yeah, that's.
I thought sociopaths like did not have that sort of connection. Like they don't have
a connection to most people, but they make one connection with very few people. And in this case, you know, she's made that connection with Emily and now Jack.
Okay. I also think that, you know, they were in this maximum security juvenile detention center together. Anytime you go through something that traumatic, you're going to have a bond with that person if you stay in touch. So that's a really big deal, and they're bonded for life. I think Amanda says, "You're like a sister to me."
Yeah.
But again, it's.
That-
I mean, what's weird, as we know, it's under false pretenses. This is the feeling that Amanda has, whereas, you know, when Emily is speaking with the warden, she says, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about.
What were you wondering? Go ahead.
I was wondering about what exactly the warden was saying. I know that from the warden's point of view, it's like you just want everyone to get along and just like be nice, and she's trying to get Emily to not be so aggressive with Amanda. Mm-hmm. But then also she was hinting at the fact that, I mean, I just wonder if the warden knows about that her dad is innocent.
No, we know this. Well, because, you know, the warden in last episode helped Emily out.
Yeah, right. But is it just because of Emily, or do you think she knows?
I don't know that the full extent of how much she may or may not know. I mean, it seems like she knows. Well, as we kind of grow to find out, you know, Emily, there's people in Emily's life who are helping her, who know the secret. And so she just happens to be one of those people. And
she didn't know about her dad's innocence until she got out, right? And then came back to pick Amanda up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think, and two, I think the warden pretty much laid out Amanda's whole revenge plan. There's better ways of confronting your enemies, turn them into your friends, or basically use them for you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, poor Amanda is just a pawn in Amanda's scheme.
And Emily's.
That's it.
Yeah.
It even gets confusing when we try to not make it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, just in terms of the relationship, through the flashbacks and things like that, like, is there any chance that Emily does have a bond towards Amanda?
I don't think that Emily has a bond towards anybody. I and again, I would describe her as sociopathic. You wouldn't. We're gonna have to agree to disagree.
Fair enough.
But no, I don't think she has a bond towards her. It's kind of unbelievable to me to see like how she is just so able to use people. And
Yeah, it seems really disconnected and weird. You know, like I feel like most people wouldn't devise this whole plan.
Right.
But with most people, I would think that maybe she would like actually fall in love with, you know, Daniel, or she would, you know, just kind of like forget the whole thing because she knows these people now and like how can she do this? But even like her pretty much longest term friend,
right.
even her, she seems to have no guilt about it. Like you could see her turn all moody and stuff when she has to deal with her. You could see her be like, you're right, you know?
Right.
Because she's like, okay, I just have to deal with her. I just have to deal with her.
Yeah.
Rather when it's kind of sad because like Amanda's like so.
And then she ships her off to Paris at the end.
Yeah.
Or tries to.
Tries to.
And that doesn't work out.
No. Then she ends up just creepily staring at her from outside her window.
That was so creepy.
And did you see like her hand? I just noticed this for the first time. She was just like rubbing the porch. It was really weird.
What was that?
I know. That's why I was like, oh, okay. So she's like, obviously, she's like
Again, I mean, that's why I call her sociopath.
Or like
'cause
jealous.
She doesn't, she doesn't have a plan. She doesn't know anything, and she's in the world that she's been in. Emily's now the only solid thing that she's had. As she states, I've never even been out of the state, and so that's a daunting thing. And Amanda asks Emily like, "Will you come with me?" And when it's no, then I think that solidified the whole idea in Amanda that I can't leave, not without her. And especially now I've also got Jack, and so now I'm kind of formulating my a group of friends for the first time.
Right. But so then that's not really being loyal to Emily.
Well, she doesn't know what loyalty is. I don't think
she's
so.
codependent, I would say.
And scared.
Yeah, and really scared. And if I had never left the state, I'd be freaked out to just go to Paris or, a different country.
By the way, can we turn down the screening room? There's no other shows going on here later tonight.
I was about to say.
Why do we have to blast it during our Revenge after show? Is it to punish me?
Yeah, exactly.
We got the screen. What are we watching over there?
It's all about you.
Anyway.
We just wanted to hear your voice enunciated. You guys are so powerful. That's all.
I know.
Well,
let's move on to another past, Lydia. And now, back at the Graysons.
Okay, here's a question. Why would Victoria want Lydia in her home and then remind Lydia of the past? Like, I could understand wanting her there to sort of guide her memories in favor of whatever works out for the Graysons. But then she's like, oh, so you remember telling me about Conrad. Remember the speech you wrote? Which sort of reminds her that that has this anger towards Victoria. Doesn't that seem sort of...
I feel like that's like kind of... Because I was wondering why she would bring that up too. And I feel like either she wants to be seemingly like she's willing to tell her whatever, even if it's like unpleasant, just in case Lydia is thinking that she's just going to stay quiet about it, and maybe like, or Lydia like doesn't remember. Maybe she's, I don't know, just trying to be like, I'm actually really mad at you, so don't get too comfortable.
Well, I think it serves two things. A, it forces guilt upon Lydia, especially if she doesn't know. Then it's like, oh my God, I was going to do what? And two, if Lydia does in fact know this information, and is just not revealing it, it shows that Victoria has the upper hand. Basically,
yeah.
It's kind of the notion of like, if you tell a thief like, hey, you know what? I know if you're, I'm really good at spotting thieves, and so don't even try to steal from me because I'll know. And it's like, then the thief goes, oh, okay, I can't steal from him. Whereas if you don't state that, then they're going to steal from you. Does that make sense?
I guess. I don't know.
And the last song was by a band called Widow Speak, and the song's called Limbs.
There you go. Thank you for
Yeah.
bringing
I
that.
just wanted to know.
Hey, Revenge After Showers. I was just going to tell you to encourage everybody, because you guys are going and talking about this great show. We do keep it available for you guys to give us a call, 424-256-1729, 424-256-1729. That way, if you want to be a part of our conversation, obviously, as Phil said earlier, we love it when you write comments on our iTunes page
Ronnie.
and rate us, but also phone calls are good too.
Ronnie, you just keep the phone line open for Dorinda. We're expecting Dorinda to call in, all right? That's the I want Dorinda. All right. Keep that open for her.
We got it.
We'll keep it open for everyone.
She's got the bat line. She's fine.
All right. By the way, never mind.
All right.
All right.
Well, we got a lot to get through, so
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it moving.
So I think the memory of the photo of Emily is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Like, she doesn't remember Emily. She doesn't remember that she bought the summer home, but somehow she remembers from
Her
New Year's
face.
Eve.
Yeah.
Oh, she's in a picture of mine.
That party in 2003.
Right. Like, come on,
Yeah, that's a little weird. And in the background,
Silly.
and a server,
Right,
at
yeah.
a New Year's party or something.
Yeah, it's silly.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Here's why it doesn't bug me, is because it's a foil to Emily's plans. You know what I mean? So anytime you have a villain, you want them to be lucky, whereas you don't want your main character to be lucky, and especially not at the end of a movie or TV show. You know what I mean? Because they got to use their wits or whatever they may have to overcome the antagonist. And so, I don't mind that she's lucky and she figures that out, because it just, again, foils kind of Emily's plans, and then she's got to get the Photoshop thing. Does it foil Emily's plans too much? No, but it further keeps isolating her and Nolan, where she's like, Nolan, I need this in an hour.
Right.
And again, he's starting to get the idea that, yeah, she's just kind of using me and not keeping me in the loop.
You bring up an interesting point. Who do you think the antagonist is of the show? Either of you.
I think it's Conrad and Victoria. I think that's
I would say it's Victoria. I would probably say.
Yeah.
I think ultimately it's I used to say the season finale or the TV series finale was Emily versus Victoria, but I think as it may continue, Victoria, she's just kind of a pawn in this. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, she's capable of doing evil things, but Conrad's ruthless about it.
Yeah, Conrad is clearly the one that puts Victoria in these situations, and then kind of, the whole thing that happened with David Clark,
right?
And kind of just like pushes her to do it. She didn't want to lie about it, and she even felt bad, but he just doesn't seem to feel guilty at all.
No.
Right.
Who do you think
he
is
has
the
too much-
antagonist?
I don't think there is one. I mean, they're all just such horrible people.
Yeah.
Like, they are. And I think the idea is you want to be rooting for Emily, but she's awful. She does horrible things.
Yeah, but at
and
the end of the day,
uses
she's the center of our universe, and so as awful as she is, we're like, yeah, whatever.
people. Yeah, no, I know, but I mean, I don't know, from just a logical point of view. There's
no logical.
Yeah, if you
you have to
actually
apply logic. You have
Well,
to.
here's what I'm going to say. I mean, no matter what, evil is an otherwise good quality taken to the extreme, right?
You mean
Here's
good
what I mean.
intentions pave the pathway to hell?
Here's what I mean, right?
heard that saying,
I'm going
yeah.
to take a lot of shit for this. I'm going to
Oh,
say
God.
shit.
Oh, my
No,
God.
but because all right, Nazism, right, and what Hitler did, right? At the end of the day, what was it? It was patriotism, but taken to the obviously extreme of that and what that meant.
Is the twist to it? I think that was
was
poor
genocide.
example.
Emily wants to revenge someone, and she's taking it to, eventually, she's already taken to a huge
Phil,
extreme.
Instead of Nazism, it's exactly, it's a good intention, or she believes that it's a righteous thing and that she has a right to do that, and it's taken to the extreme, and it's at the expense of everybody else.
And that's the point. We all have what we call the center of goodness, right? We believe what we do is right.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, and other people view it as evil. Why? Because they're viewing it from a different perspective.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Good intentions pave the pathway to hell.
And we're just nihilistic. Thank you, Nietzsche. for that lesson. But I think ultimately, to kind of answer your question a little bit further, I think Dan's going to be the one to suffer the most out of all of this.
Yeah.
Just by design.
He's the most gullible.
He certainly is.
Yeah.
He's like a little puppy or something.
Yeah.
He just believes everything. Even Tyler.
Yeah.
He lets pretty much anyone into his life. He's just way too trusting.
Yeah, he's like a Labrador.
Yeah, he is.
And we see that tonight multiple times. I mean, when he confronts Victoria, obviously a big scene, he accuses her, and then, we've seen him even do that before where, well, first off, the whole rebellion thing of him working at the stowaway, and now having gone back on that with his dad saying, you know what, I messed up, I was just trying to be rebellious, but let me help out, so he's always flip-flopping.
Right.
He hasn't found his... I don't know. He's looking for something.
Well, he's trying to find his independence, and since he's never had it, and I don't think he ever will, because it means straying from the Graysons, so I think he just doesn't know what he wants.
I don't think he knows who he is.
Yeah, that
Because
too.
he's just like glomming right onto Emily too. That's not really independence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Moves out of his mom's house into his girlfriend's house.
yeah.
But he's going to stay there for a while. But in speaking about the Graysons, I like his line of saying, being over there is just a poison.
It is, yeah.
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 Because it really is. And it's quite unfortunate because Dan, he is very gullible, and at the end of the day, he could be a very nice kid. But for however old he is, 22, 23, he's been poisoned for that many years by the Graysons.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So is redemption possible for him?
Redemption to whom?
For Danny.
But to
in
redeem
Emily's
himself.
eyes. In Emily's eyes.
Oh. Well, she's taken it this far. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
They killed her father. Why not?
Yeah,
Why
destroy
not?
their
Yeah.
son.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. And I feel like she wouldn't go into it if she didn't think she could really get to know a person. I mean, I think her plan was, I won't say it since it hasn't happened, but to what happens in the last episode that's happened, her plan is to get in a relationship with him and to be close to him because...
Well, we know that from the pilot.
Well, right.
Because we flash back.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not given
So
too
she
much
wants
away.
to take down that infrastructure because she knows that he's so gullible. That's wrong. That is so wrong because he didn't do anything.
Right. He had nothing to do with it.
But I'm sure her thinking is she had nothing to do with whatever, and neither did her dad. So why not?
Right.
At the end of the day, I think she'll just keep.
Well, what role does
pushing herself.
Charlotte's obviously her storyline has been building with Declan.
I hate Declan.
I hate Declan too. Okay, why do you hate Declan?
He first of all, what accent is he trying to do?
I know he's doing
I hate
some weird
so
talking thing.
irritating, and it's so inconsistent.
It's like that. I'm trying to be I don't know. It's this is the. I don't know. I don't get
Here's
it
what
either.
I think.
It's annoying.
You guys let me know if you guys disagree, but here's what I think it is. I don't know if it's an accent necessarily as much as it is him trying to play off being this tough kid, and he's
Right.
obviously trying to go up against Jack. Stop acting like you're a man, because ultimately those that do only eventually show how innocent they really are and unknowing.
Right.
And I think that's what it is. Do you guys?
No, I totally agree. He's always trying to be a tough guy. Also, in real life, Charlotte would never date him.
Yeah,
He's not.
But it's love.
No. But it's
but it's not like Jack. Jack is hot.
Right, exactly. He's not hot, and if she was just doing a rebellious thing, then he would be an actual bad boy, not
Yeah.
this total pansy. Oh, let's just sit here and talk. No.
The stowaway. Here's where I work. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd have to be a badass.
Yeah, a bad boy,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
or at least attractive.
Yeah. Exactly. And not talk like that.
I mean, he's
what are you doing?
confused. He's trying to be a man when he really isn't, and that's my problem with him as a character. He's just not a man yet.
Yeah, not even close.
You don't like little boys.
No, I don't. Well, again, okay, so you're gonna give your brother advice, and then you're gonna ask for the night off so you can spend the time with your girl. come on, you know, like your brother's doing everything for you.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
You want to talk about like being an adult? That's what you do as an adult. You take on that responsibility, whether you're a mother, like feeding 8 kids or whatever. Like that's what you do.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one of the main things is that he is still like the kid, obviously, and Jack has taken on the father role, and Jack is really hot. What?
Thank you.
Huh?
But so going back to the original, what role does Charlotte have to play in this? Because we've obviously been building her up.
Well, she's definitely a daddy's girl.
Yeah, seriously. And she's a Grayson. Of course you can be strong. You're a Grayson.
Well, and obviously she's sort of she's gonna be, I think in terms of the Grayson divorce, she's gonna be used as a pawn, you know, between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Well, she hates Victoria. Hates her.
Yeah.
Why do you think that? Well, obviously for the reason that basically she said Charlotte should have never been born.
Right.
But other than that, she's a nice,
you know,
they're equally as
Well,
bad.
she's like a daddy's girl, and Daniel is like a mama's boy. So,
But for what reason is
both
she a
side.
mom? For what reason is she a daddy's girl? That's
well,
what I want to know from you
psychologically,
guys.
it could be argued that they're jealous that they're not the number that psychologically speaking, into like the edible complex and stuff. That could be something. But
So I don't know what
also-
you mean.
Well,
I'm bringing some Freudian shit that I haven't heard.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I know
for
the
her-
Oedipal complex, but how does it?
But for her, it would be an Electra complex.
yeah. For her, it would be an electric complex. Yeah.
so
which
basically,
means
she
that-
wants. What does that mean?
That means that she's jealous of any other woman taking attention away from her.
The top dog, being the dad.
Yeah, being number one in like dad's eyes.
Okay.
And Daniel wants to be number one in mom's eyes. So they're always like siding and protecting the other one. But it seems like I think that they just like baby the opposite one, you know, like the dad, I guess, like babies her and is really, really nice to her, I guess. But I don't really know. He's really harsh on Daniel and vice versa. So I guess they just side with the parent who babies him the most.
Well, Victoria's still at an age where I would say most girls go through a phase of not getting along with their moms, and it's anywhere between middle school and high school.
Yeah.
So she's still at that age. I think that Daniel is really disappointed and embarrassed Conrad, so that's probably why he is so hard on Daniel, and and he's doing this rebellious thing, like I'm going to work at the stowaway, whatever. And he sees Charlotte as just being his, perfect little girl.
Yeah. So innocent. Little does he know.
You know
that
who's
tonight's
also
the
a
night.
baby? Ashley.
Oh, yeah, she sucks.
No, well,
I
because
thought she was cool, like, at the beginning of the show. But
I thought she was cool too, and then all these remarks about, oh, well, I guess you wouldn't know about that life. Like, what do you think? Like, you go, like, in less than a summer, you go from being basically an intern to a billionaire.
also, weren't
Right.
they like friends? Like,
Yeah, I thought they were friends.
I don't
They
get
were.
it. But they didn't just become friends through Victoria, right? Because they were
I want
friends
to know
before.
that. Do we still haven't found out their relationship beforehand.
Yeah, because all of a sudden she has no loyalty to Emily. Like the minute Tyler starts saying something out of bitterness and craziness, like all of a sudden she doesn't say anything or stand up for her at all.
Everybody's the worst. Like,
Yeah, everybody's
all
the-
of them.
No,
They're all
I don't think that.
terrible.
I mean, I hate people like that who, to in their eyes we're disposable. No, you're not disposable. But like, what did you think was gonna like? Okay,
Yeah.
you're the intern. Like, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go get Lydia's stuff and like,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, that's. I mean, and they're crazy. It's like it's
That's
fast paced.
their
Like, I'm
job.
sorry that you slept over, Ashley, and you're in your nightgown from the night before,
Right.
and it's time to work.
Right.
Yeah, I know, and she's all pissed about it.
Whose fault? Like, come on.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, what are you gonna do? Victoria's like pretty harsh, or not harsh, but like blunt with her. But
And everybody.
yeah, and everybody else, yeah. So
But again, that's like blaming your boss for like, okay, so you drank last night and you're hungover at work, and that's your boss's fault.
yeah,
I think it may have been a little bit confusing because Victoria did invite her to the anniversary dinner. So maybe she thought she was being let in.
yeah, like invited,
Right.
like
into
that.
like their social group. And
And again, it was a nice reward. But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean the next day you're not back at work. Like what do you have? Like you're not the vice president of that.
Well, I think she sees that like Daniel and Emily, who are her age too, I guess, and they get to like do whatever they want, I guess. And so
because
Daniel's
Daniel's the son, and then Emily just happens to have a lot of money.
She's just jealous. Like she's jealous. She wants it for herself.
Yeah, well, I hate. And then obviously Tyler, we know his intention is to bring down the whole damn company, and he'll use every pawn he has.
I know, he's so crazy.
Which I love. Having seen it the second time, I love when Daniel comes in to talk with Conrad. So I was like, all right, I'll leave. And I'm like, yep, but I'll stay right here. And then I counted the steps until he like stopped right outside the door.
I'll just listen right outside the door.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I really wish, in terms of if we're going to nitpick anything, I really wished as the phone rang, they would have been like, wait, how'd you get here so quick?
Yeah,
right.
I know. He just like ran and he's like, I don't get it. Okay, I was already walking in. Like, okay, you can hear footsteps, you know, especially in. I'm thinking, I guess, but they're both like trusting. They both think that he's honest or whatever, that he is gonna.
Well, Dan at this point doesn't, but Conrad does.
Yeah, but how do they not pick up on that? He's
that's what
awful.
I wonder.
And again with the door, why do they not close the door to have this
I
conversation?
know that's true.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you close it? They just leave.
I mean, at the end of the day, what was it that big a conversation? No. So I think in Conrad's eyes, he's the one who should have closed it, but he didn't, simply because, if you really think about it, it wasn't that serious a conversation. Like I'm sorry, Dad, I want to be back into the family business. And worst case scenario is, okay, so someone hears it.
Well, it's not someone, it's Tyler.
That's the problem.
That's
It's Tyler.
the person
Yeah.
that would ignite his
Had it been a
anger.
maid over at the Grayson Manor,
Well,
it
no
would have
one
been
would
all
care.
good.
It'd been like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, they're just having their moment again.
Well, nice, whatever maid accent that was.
That was my maid accent.
Whatever that voice was, where it came from. But yeah.
Anything else that you guys want to talk about the Grayson specifically before we sort of move on to Nolan and his plights this episode?
I like the bodyguard.
Big Ed.
Big Ed.
Well, he's part of Nolan's discussion.
Yeah.
Anything else about the Graysons?
That's
I
what
don't
I'm
think so.
saying.
All right. Well, we love Big Ed. Anna, do you love Big Ed? We all like Big Ed.
Why? Yeah, who wouldn't love Big Ed?
He needs more lines. He's just awesome.
Yeah, he needs more lines.
And I love how,
Maybe he's not SAG.
What's that?
Maybe he's not SAG. All he needs is like 2 lines.
We should write a letter.
Oh, he totally is SAG because he said, hey, isn't this your guy? Or whatever, about Frank. He shows Nolan the picture.
And he also asked for ID from
Emily.
Yeah.
Okay, first off, for the viewers who don't know what the hell you're talking about, explain what the hell you're talking about.
Well-
Not in terms of the scenes, but in terms of like lines and SAG.
Okay, well, it's not really that important, but it's a Screen Actors Guild, and if to gain like union status, you have to say a certain amount of. Really, it's a long explanation, so look it up at SAG/AFTRA.
So you have to have a certain amount of lines in that.
In order to become a union actor, you have to have a certain amount of lines in a union project.
Okay, and obviously, Revenge is a union project.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Now we're not all confused.
All right.
But yeah, Big Ed, I love him, and I love how Nolan is so trusting with him to bring him over to Emily's when he's interrogating her.
Yeah, why? That's what I'm wondering. If he knows about like Frank, then he knows that he broke into that apartment and stuff. So how does he know to trust him?
I'm gonna let Anna answer.
I have no. It's Anna, but that's okay.
Sorry, I messed it up then.
No, I don't know how he knows to trust him because he just hired him, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't seem to be there before, right?
Yeah, it was after his life was threatened that he hired him.
By who?
Nolan's life was.
Yeah, by what happened?
It just happened. I'm not gonna. For those of you who saw the episodes, you know what happened.
Well, I did see them. You just refresh me.
All right. Well, his life got threatened.
Okay.
I'll just leave it at that.
Oh.
I mean, it's sort of longer explanation.
All right. But just okay, whatever.
We can.
Just
We
tell
can
me
look
who.
at it.
Just say a name to like remind me.
I think it was Tyler. It was the
Oh, okay,
All right.
okay.
So
I'm confused on a lot of Nolan's behavior. leaving the wallet and cell phone on Emily's porch, like that was.
Yeah.
Well, that's a sign to her that, like, you know what, I did it, but I'm not going to take your shit.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna have the evidence on me, but still, like the porch. And then they said, and then Daniel was like, "Oh, I found these detectives. They were waiting on the porch for you." I was like, "Oh my god, they totally would have found it if it wasn't for Daniel." So Daniel has like saved her in a lot of situations.
Yes, that's actually a very good point. That is, and I think Nolan wants to commit to what Emily's doing, but he just doesn't have enough information because she's not willing to share. And that's what makes me angry. Like, you have this great, you don't, unlike with Amanda, you can let this guy in on what's going on because he will help you. Amanda, she's psychotic. You don't want to let her into this world.
Right.
Because she'll bring it down.
But I don't know that Nolan would want to get involved on the level that
Yeah.
Emily's involved. I think Nolan has
On the
a soul.
morality level, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I think the problem is give him that choice. You don't know. Give him that choice.
Well, then the danger is that he might back out. But maybe
Right.
if she keeps him at a far enough distance, that way, even seemingly, if she's like trying to protect him, and also that makes him want it more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I think it's time for a phone call. If you guys are down
Is that Dorinda?
We have got a revenge surprise. How about that?
All
All
right.
right.
Hello, caller.
Hello, this is Kaylina.
Hello.
I called
Last-
in a previous recap.
Yes. Last week it was.
And she tweets us too, so we really appreciate that.
How are you?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Did you call in
Very
last
good,
week for
thank you.
Nolan as well? I believe.
Oh, yes. Sorry, what? Go ahead.
I said last week you called in at about the Nolan discussion we were having, right?
Yes, I do like talking about Nolan, but I could talk about other characters as well. By the time you guys put me through, you were done with Nolan last week. You'd kind of moved past him. This time it looks like I got in the middle.
You did.
You
You did.
did.
What do you want to say about Nolan?
Can I clarify? Sorry, there's an echo on my phone. I hope you guys can hear me okay.
Yeah,
we can hear you fine.
Yeah.
Do you have the player? Do you have our show going, and is that playing in the back?
All the way turned down, it's an echo on my phone.
Okay, well we can hear you fine here.
Okay, I'll just try to speak slowly and ignore the echo.
Okay.
May I clarify why he hired Big Ed?
Go ahead.
I do remember him saying you would hire a security guard too if you had had Frank almost blow out your kneecaps or
That's
something
it.
like that.
Yeah.
Oh, so
There we
it was
go.
Frank then.
Yeah, I said Tyler.
Oh,
but yeah,
there we
Frank.
go.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you for that
Thank you.
clarification.
You're welcome. I was also wondering if I could just backtrack real quickly, but we can go back to Nolan about the quote in the beginning. Those are an old saying about those who cannot remember the past being condemned to repeat it, but those of us who refuse to forget the past are condemned to relive it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go. That's the exact quote. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually copied it down because sometimes I'm surrounded by people sometimes who want to I remember things pretty well, and they try to do something again. I'll tell them, no, we tried that before, and this is what happened then. So those of us who refuse to forget the past and are condemned to relive it end up reliving it because people around us want to try the same thing again, and we have to go through it again. Those of us who are along for the ride.
Yes.
Good point.
Yes, indeed. Let's see. In terms of Amanda and Emily, if they're to relive anything, what do you think they'll relive? Do you think they're going to go back to fighting?
Probably not fighting, but Emily remembers how she's had to deal with Amanda. I noticed in the beginning of this episode when Amanda kind of reacted that Emily would, I'm trying to figure out how to word it, just would back off kind of. She would be like, oh, I'm sorry, you're right, thank you for helping me out,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Emily seems to back off with Amanda. We see those flashbacks of them fighting, but it seems like when Amanda starts to get testy, like, you forgot I don't like people telling me what to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And Emily's like, you're right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm...
Do you guys have questions for about anything? No?
Not
You
that
guys
I
are
think
nodding
of
your
right
head? They have no questions for you. Do you have questions for us that you want to ask us?
Can't think of any at the moment. Just think some of it I've forgotten about. Some of the stuff you were talking about, Emily and Amanda, that relationship, I think we clarified that. I think we did clarify a lot of that.
Yes. And then, I mean, we've already touched upon Lydia, Ashley, and the Graysons. Is there anything that you wanted to just add in that we may have overlooked?
Yeah, about Ashley, it was kind of interesting how it's only coming out now what her real agenda is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be interesting later in the episodes. Again, I'm always trying not to talk outside of the particular episode that we're talking about today, but...
Yes.
Right.
And then it's interesting, that is a good point, because it is, in fact, the first time that we're kind of seeing it, So,
yeah, seeing it come out more in this episode, and I think in the future episodes that we've seen already and we're about to see, we're going to see more of that. I kind of see her switching alliances. I was kind of thinking in this episode particularly, or was it the last one, that she was going to kind of start to align herself with Tyler a little bit, kind of maybe join forces with him, sort of. We didn't, just an inkling of that, but we don't really see that happening.
Yeah, and what I don't like is that she seems to switch whoever side, can guarantee her a quicker advancement.
She's an opportunist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for calling in. Will we hear from you next week as well?
Actually, yes. I feel like I missed so many of these recap episodes, so I would love it if you'd allow me to call in next week, too.
Sure.
And thank you for taking my call today.
No problem. Ronnie, we're going to keep that number, all right? Ronnie's going to keep that number, so when he sees that number, we're going to patch you right through.
Oh, thank you so much.
No problem. All right, thank you for listening. Tell your friends, rate and comment us, and we appreciate you calling in.
Okay, will do. Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Bye.
Hi.
Do you guys have anything to add about Nolan? We were kind of...
No.
I don't know if we were kind of wrapping up or where we were at with that, but...
Yeah, I think pretty much.
I think we kind of completed our thoughts on that. Let's move on to Jack and Amanda.
Yeah, Jack, of course he fell in love at first sight in a red bikini. I would too.
Which was... Hey, I mean, that was a good shot. No. I'm just thinking about the shot. Are you guys thinking about the shot?
Well, now I know that you are. So I think that that's the important thing.
I'm very comfortable in this room right now with the two of you. I just want to say.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
good.
not awkward at
I'm
all.
sure. Okay.
So, yeah. Do you think there's any significance with her making the Black Dahlia?
Yeah, I was thinking of that too. Okay, so the Black Dahlia murders, obviously, okay, it's a murder case and stuff, and she had just murdered someone. And then there's all this, there's blood on her jacket and all that stuff. So I was thinking that too.
Right. And the Black Dahlia, there was a woman who was cut in half, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think so.
You guys know more than me.
Yeah, I know that it was cut up. I don't really know a lot of the details, but yeah, cut up in some way.
So,
or like the mouth, or parts of their body were cut up or something creepy.
So that might be, I don't know, symbolic for
like half
parts
of
of them
her.
missing.
Yeah,
I think
interesting.
So. I mean, the show's, the show, we don't get too much into the symbolism, but it really is there. Last week we talked about the swing, how Jack fixed the swing on her porch, and that's also a swing of like she's going back and forth between Jack and Dan,
and that's also symbolic of like her childhood, and he's the only proof that it happened. I mean, he's the only person that was really there, but she can't even tell him that.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't ask him, but he fixed it anyway.
What do we think? I mean, Jack falling in love. Well, his eyes say that he's fallen in love. I'll just tell you from a guy's perspective. And is it fair? Because she's the rebound chick. He loved Emily.
Well, he still does, I think. And obviously, Emily is like jealous at first, and so maybe she does have like a little bit of a soul because she has like a soft spot for him.
Well, of
Jack.
course, because she loves Jack. Like, there's no denying that.
Yeah.
She can't have him.
And so then on top of her bringing Amanda in, like she was the one, she's the reason that she's there. And then Amanda starts dating Jack, which is like, that
you know what?
sucks.
I think part of it is to the fact that Jack has no one. He's taken on all this responsibility, and we kind of touched upon it with Declan basically being a clown. And so this is the first person that is really about Team Jack and helping out Jack.
Amanda is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially when she comes back.
And she's loyal, and she knows how to make drinks. As everyone in the Grayson household calls it, she knows how to tend a bar. It's like so weird.
She knows how to tend a bar.
Aren't you supposed to be tending bar, Daniel? Freaking, what's his name?
From Conrad.
Tyler.
He said
Because Conrad would never refer to it.
That's tending bar.
Or no,
Doesn't
just never talk
acknowledge
about
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, he'd probably never bring that up. But I think in that moment when she comes back, that solidified it for Jack of like, I'm really falling head over heels for this girl,
Right.
She looks pretty good. I think, what is it? Is it just me or does she have some accent or something? She talks like, she has some weird accent.
Well, in real life, she is a Russian Jew. So I don't know if that's
so
what
she's
you're picking
from
up
Russia?
on. Yeah.
Okay, so that's probably it.
There you go. She's playing a Russian Jew. I think most of her accent comes from the fact that she doesn't know exactly what to say. She doesn't know how to fit into this world, and she's trying to find her comfort. And there's I don't know if there's like a stutter or things like that. I don't know.
Well,
I think
she
it's
does
just
a
part of
thing
the
with
character.
the S says she does like the sh thing, and she does like the Sean Connery thing. Nobody else notices that. That stuff like really just.
Well, that's why we have you. That's why we
Right.
keep you around, because you notice when we don't.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's why. Okay. Good. But yeah, just pay attention to it because it gets more and more prevalent. It's just like the one thing that I'm always wondering about. So that makes sense that she's from Russia or something.
Yeah.
A Russian Jew.
A Russian Jew.
Um,
Why does that amuse you so much?
No, it doesn't. Unless you guys have anything else, we should probably cut to a commercial soon, and then we have some news and gossip for this week. And then Michelle's also going to talk about The Real Revenge, which is the ABC show that's going on right now while Revenge is on hiatus.
Well, it just happened like last week once.
Okay.
It was just one thing.
It was just one thing?
Yeah.
All right. Well, she's seen it, so she'll talk about that. Should we go to a commercial?
Let's go to a commercial.
All right, Ronnie, take us to a commercial.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
All right, we're back, and so Michelle, tell us about this Revenge, The Real Revenge. What is
The Real
this?
Revenge, which was this ABC special. It's like this news story, and it was trying to say how it's
AfterBuzz TV News.
It's not quite news. It's more of a
Well,
report, but hey, why not?
It is news. It was on the news.
All right, let's bring back the news.
Yeah,
That's crickets.
oh, okay, got it. All right. Well, then I'll just tell you what it is. So it's this
We have fun
big
here. That's what we do.
family, right? It's this big family from Kentucky. Okay, so this big family from Kentucky, and the man, okay, who it's all about. The man's father ran for a political office, and everybody like loved him. Apparently, he was just like everyone loved him. He was like the typical like Southern like big man on campus type of person in the political world, and he put a lot of pressure on his kid, who is this guy.
This is like Ides of March type stuff.
And so
No?
while he's growing, I don't know, I didn't see it.
No one
Yeah.
got the reference. Sorry.
Did you see it?
Yeah. All right, continue.
Yeah. So anyway, so then he tries to run for office. Basically, he's like always in his dad's shadow, and there's always all this pressure to take over and for this office to be in the public eye. And they were like really wealthy, and he married this girl who's really wealthy, whose family owns like a bunch of horses in the Kentucky Derby and like all this stuff. All this like basically the things that they had in common was that the dad thing, the family being in the public eye. They're really wealthy. And then his dad got older. And they didn't talk for a while because his dad was an alcoholic and also like slept with a bunch of women. And it turned, the more you hear about his dad, the more of a sleazy guy he sounds like.
Sure.
But he totally looked up to him. And also then he ended up like beating up his mom and beating him up. So he stopped talking to him. And then a few years later, like he was about to die, and then they started talking again. And whatever happened, it was like very public. So then basically it turned out that his dad died. He tried to run for office, and he was in charge of the domestic abuse, like part of some part of the government in Kentucky. But every time he ran for something, like he lost, nobody voted for him. And he wasn't like a great politician or anything. It was just like the name.
Right.
And his biggest concern was like bringing honor to the name, the last name. And he wanted to, support his dad and all that stuff and like bring the name to his vision or whatever. And so.
Who got revenge?
Well, then he got revenge. Then his dad died. Then he went totally crazy. The woman that he married, he started being like his dad, like exactly like his dad, like totally changed as a person, turned into his dad, and then started seeing this younger woman who was also trying to be a politician, who was also like successful. So like an opportunist kind of move. Mm-hmm. But he starts seeing her, and then he thinks that she like sets this up, but he ends up like hitting her, but it being in a public situation or something, so that it's obvious he loses his job and like everything in his life is totally effed up, and then he goes and he kills her. And then
that story took a sudden turn.
And then he went and killed her, even though she filed a restraining order, and then he went to slit his wrist over his father's grave.
Whoa.
Over to the graveyard, and he survived, and then he went to court, and now he's in prison forever.
Oh, he showed them.
So
yeah.
The end part, it was just like a murdered story like that with powerful people.
As opposed to, it's not quite like revenge.
It's not, yeah. Especially the ending,
Right.
of him killing.
We've not seen the
her.
ending yet. So.
Well, right.
Emily's going to slit her wrists.
Ooh, no, don't even say that. That freaks me out. But yeah, anyway, I just thought it was very telling that the first place he went to was his father's grave.
Sure.
Apparently, he just turned into him. He was like, he just like morphed into. It's like he took on his father's ghost or something.
Yeah. Do you think the dad possessed him?
Like, could be. Could be. That's what people were
Now we're
saying.
turning this into a ghost story.
That's what the wife was saying. His wife, was like he was like, a different person before, and his dad died. So it was like,
Never mind. I was gonna ask a dumb question.
What?
Location where it took place, but you already answered that.
Oh, in Kentucky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is the Hamptons of the South.
Is it?
Is it?
I know. I was
Should've
like,
been.
that's what I was trying to figure. I was like, okay, I guess that's random, but like, you know, what's the capital of Kentucky? What's the main city in Kentucky?
Who cares? Let's
Louisville?
get on to news and gossip.
Yeah, that's it. That's where they were. They were in those
Louisville?
Louisville, yeah.
All right.
Something to do with the Derby, you know,
Louisville Derby. Well,
the Kentucky Derby,
maybe we have it in our news and gossip,
perhaps.
AfterBuzz TV News.
if you will.
So just a couple of things. The new Now Next Awards, which is new to me now. Revenge has been nominated for the Best New Indulgence, and Emily Van Camp has been nominated for the Next Megastar. And you can go vote online, newnownext.com.
Do we know who's in those two respective categories?
We do. Revenge is up against Absolutely Fabulous Revival, Pinterest.com, and Seamless.com.
What?
This is Best New Indulgence.
So like it could be chocolate.
Right, but it's not. But it's these things. It's these two.
Well,
I wonder if it
you
could
know
be
what?
a food.
That's kind of like a compliment. Like, you know, I could have indulged in anything. It could have been
But I indulged in
chocolate
revenge.
frosted crickets, but I chose to indulge in revenge. And
Correct. That
So
was
that's-
my reward.
So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool that they would make, that they made the list.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
Yeah.
Emily Van Camp is up
Against Lizzie Kaplan, Josh Hutcherson, Michael B. Jordan, and Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh, Josh Hutcherson, I heard an interesting interview. He's in the Hunger Games.
Right.
Oh, so
But
he may.
was he in anything before?
He was also in The Kids Are All Right.
Oh.
So he may be the next hot thing
Possibility.
because he's in.
I think-
he's,
Well, we'll
he's
see.
in Hunger Games, so it's kind of.
But
see.
if you go to newnownext.com, you can vote for Emily, and she will be the next megastar. So,
There you go.
so there you go. Then I guess we mentioned last week that Emily and Joshua Bauman are dating in real life.
Did
Over
they just announce that then? Like last week, I guess?
No, it's
been
last
going
week.
on.
Well, the duo were spotted shopping for furniture on March
Oh, when?
17th. And then they were photographed just holding hands and being arm in arm and picking up their dry cleaning. So it sounds like they're just
Having
No, well, here's
exciting.
the
Their life
no,
is
but
just
here's the thing.
like
It's
revenge.
one thing to like, oh, we're gonna go out and buy a bed versus like, oh, I need some containers,
right.
or like, I guess they were picking.
Oh,
up on-
meaning it's like a big deal that they want to buy furniture.
No, I'm saying, well, we have to look at the piece of furniture that they were buying
Right.
before we can assess how serious
Oh,
this
I
is.
see. Oh, I see.
Well, they were picking up their dry cleaning together. That to me is a bigger deal than furniture shopping because they could be furniture shopping together and just giving opinions
Yeah.
for each other. But,
Yeah.
it sounds like they're in a routine. So,
yeah, that's a pretty routine-y thing.
Well,
to do.
it's makes it easier. Why don't we get our?
It's a showmance. That's what we call it, showmance.
There you
it's
go.
true.
And it always feels like an alternate universe, and then you get out of the show and you're like, what just happened?
Have not experienced that, but makes
You
sense.
should try it.
And then a little bit disappointing, but still vital information. Revenge will be turning April 18th and not the 11th as originally promised to us. So,
Do we have a reason?
no. But that's cool. We'll be here.
Well, we
right?
will.
We'll
but-
be recapping.
Yeah, but that's I don't know if that's good news. Like, it's certainly not good news to the fans, but is it good news to the show? Like,
The last time I saw this happen was like with My So-Called Life. Like, do you remember that? It would just
Yeah.
be months in between, and
What happened with that show? Is it still on?
no. But yeah, I don't know if the network's just buying like a few episodes at a time or what's going on, but yeah, it's a long break in between episodes.
That is a really long break.
yeah, and we talked about it. Like, first off, we as fans love the show. I'm glad we're kind of doing this because we can kind of fill that void with doing the past episodes that we've missed. But next week, that's it, and we've caught up.
How many shows are there in total?
I think we've seen 16 or 17, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, we caught momentum. Every time we seem to catch momentum, it's like, all right, then we're jerked back.
Right.
And we're jerked back.
I don't know.
You know, and
hopefully they spent the time changing the title sequence in which the like waves go over the revenge thing.
Yeah, I
you
love
know?
that.
Yeah, hopefully they change that.
all right. Any
Put a
other
little
piece of
boat
news and
on it
gossip
or
we got?
something.
No, that's all. That's all I have for news and gossip.
So that is your news and gossip for the week of March 20. At this point, 22nd. I am correct about that. At this point, 22nd,
All right.
2012.
You're right. You.
Wow. So why don't we get straight into predictions, Ronnie? There we go.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
You see, Ronnie from the booth is learning. He's got the lights going, got them flickering.
I see that.
Nice.
I don't know if we can give predictions without giving something away.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Well, based off of today's episode, what did you predict the first time that you saw this? If you can remember.
Oh, that one time I thought Victoria was going to Lydia's room and was going to suffocate her with the pillow.
So that's not really a prediction.
No,
that's
but I forgot about that. But in that moment, it was a prediction. Mm-hmm. And it was wrong.
Yes.
So that was in the moment, though.
What I've always known, Tyler is going to obviously play a big part. Charlotte, they're setting her up to do something big. Let's see. What are the... Obviously...
The divorce.
The divorce is obviously going to be a through line. Amanda being back, that's just going to be huge.
Oh, yeah.
And then also what's tough is that we watch it through iTunes, so we don't get a preview for next week.
Right.
So we can at least kind of go off of that. The next, Ronnie, what's the next episode called? Do we know? We don't know.
Next episode? Give me 1 second. I will find that for you.
It's we're trying to look up episode 9.
It's called Charade. Oh, wait.
No, Charade was 7.
We already did that one.
Treachery.
Just keep on.
Suspicion.
Keep on, I'll get that.
It's called Suspicion.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know. What can we predict? We can't predict.
We can't.
We're
But
stumped.
Daniel turning against Victoria, and I guess aligning with Conrad. I mean, that certainly changes.
I think.
things.
I mean, we're gonna predict he's gonna flip flop back and forth. I think he's like the swing.
I don't know, because he loves Emily, and she really betrayed him in that sense by having her investigated, and
Yeah, that sucks. That's
a big deal.
Crazy.
This is a big deal.
I'd be pretty pissed about that.
That's true.
I guess we'll see what happens.
We will. Ronnie, do you want us to keep going with predictions? He's torturing us.
No, I mean, I didn't know if you were going to talk about the actors. I mean, I'm an Emily Van Camp, fan, so I didn't know if there was.
What do you want to talk about?
You
all right, you want to? You don't want to talk about actors. You want to talk about Emily Van Camp. So Ronnie, we're going to make a new segment right now, and we're going to talk. Ronnie's going to tell us about Emily Van Camp. What do you want to talk?
No, I mean, that's not it. I thought it was interesting. You said who she was dating. She was dating one of the actors on the show. For me, I will follow certain shows, and I'll be like, oh,
you want to date her? Ronnie's disappointed that he's not dating.
I'm on the
her.
trivia page of Emily Van Camp.
I would like to know more about her, because again, on another ABC
She's a ballet
show,
dancer.
I knew that because on Brothers and Sisters, she had a couple scenes when the baby died. She went on to become a ballet dancer, was written in. So I know she does it. That's what I'm saying.
Died.
It's great. She had a miscarriage. This was on the other show, but I'm saying I love it when, ABC, you can tell they have stars. Like Brothers and Sisters was ending. They send her off, and they went to have her launch this show. So to me, it's really incredible for her to be dominating so well. And I hear that Revenge obviously has a huge fan base, so I think it's good. That's my opinion.
There you go. All right, we're now going to talk about Happy Endings, which is a show that Ronnie does.
I mean, but it's on ABC, just like Dancing with the Stars. Boom.
Yes, thank you.
There it is. There it is.
Oh, Jesus.
You love it.
I love
Why
it.
do my shows always have to get ruined at the end? They're going well, and then at the end, it's just like, yep, the ball went out of bounds.
Well, you know what, Phil? If one of us fails, we all fail.
I didn't say we
So
didn't. But you know who can't fail?
let's get revenge.
Maria on Dancing with the Stars.
Who can or can't?
Cannot.
Okay,
Cannot.
good.
Will
Yeah,
not.
we should vote. Yeah, will not. Let's all vote for her, and then she won't.
Let's all vote 12 times because we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I did that.
Yes, and if you're on the East Coast, vote East Coast time because, no matter what, if you're in the wrong time zone, whatever your area code is, vote that time, area code's time zone.
Right.
And there is always the power of the hashtag, the pound team enough. You got to understand
Team
the power.
enough.
Yes, the power of a hashtag is a big deal because when everyone on Twitter is talking team enough, then we go up in the trending topics and it becomes a big deal. So Maria's going to win the whole thing. How about that? That's what I think. Boom.
And the longer Maria stays at ABC on Dancing with the Stars, the longer we stay in business.
Yeah.
Yay.
And we want to be in business.
All right, that's it, guys. Thank you for Revenge After Show. We love it. Goodbye. Good night.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.